All right, brush monkeys, we're back, and I got to thinking during this quarantine thing. You know, a lot of people are stuck at home. A lot of people are working through the backlogs of miniatures, and a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands to do hobby shit now. So I decided that, well, I had gone through my backlog and all the miniatures I had to paint, and the videos I had to make. And you know, I usually work on a backlog where I've got months and months and months of videos made ahead of time. This time I kind of overdid myself, and I got all the videos that I needed to do for the year done, and I'm still locked down under quarantine. So I decided I was going to expand Flying Monkey Studios a little bit, and during the course of this quarantine I'm going to start doing Quaran-Tuesdays. This is an additional video every week. I'm going to try to get it done and posted by Tuesday, and these videos are all going to be, I've got a bunch of miniatures from way back in the day that I am repainting, and this week we're starting with this one. This is the Beholder from the Grenadier, I believe, Dungeon Dwellers line. Trying to see what it says on the base here, because this thing's old. This just came out of the stripper. Yeah, Grenadier 1984, I think it says. Zoom in on that. See, this is old school. This is what the Beholder originally looked like, and you can see it's still got a little bit of the red paint on it where I had tried to paint blood, and the pink where it wouldn't quite come out. That's okay. That's not gonna get in the way of painting over that or anything. We're just gonna go ahead and just paint right over that. And I decided that I was gonna paint this as kind of a mini-me for the one I did at the Paint and Take a few months back, which I didn't do a video. I don't think I did a video on that. But Tabletop Games had this Paint and Take event where you can get this. This is the Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures Beholder, and it was kind of a, I say paint and take, but it was because that's what it was advertised as. But it was really a paint fight, and it's basically you paint the miniature there, and then they have a little contest as to who they think won. So I went ahead and painted this guy like this, and I really like how he came out. I think he came out really good. I'm pretty happy with him. So I'm going to paint, and you can kind of see the scale creep involved in this. This is what they started out as. This is what they're fighting now. It's like ridiculously huge. Like this one could eat this one. So I'm going to get him close to the same scale. I'm going to paint this one like a smaller version of this guy. And, well, I'm going to try to anyway. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go in, and I'm going to put them on a new base here and reprime them and paint them and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off now and get them put on his base and get some texture put on there, and then we'll prime them up and go from there. All right, see you soon. All right, brush monkeys, we got our little Grenadier Beholder glued to the base. I've got them glued to a this is, I think, a 32 millimeter Citadel base, and he's got the base all textured and everything, so that's going to be grass, and what he's on there is stone. And I've got him all primered up with the Citadel Contrast Gray Seer Contrast Medium. So we're going to go ahead and start doing the paints. You can see I got all the paints picked out that I used on this guy, so I'm going to do him as similarly as I can. Obviously there's a few little differences, like the scales on the back don't come down in a nice V formation like that, and he's got some extra tentacles in the bottom there. I don't know what that's all about, and what all this is going to end up being. I think I might do the body in blue and those tentacles in the Guilliman flesh. That sounds about right. So anyway, we got our paints all picked out, and I'm ready to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and get some base coats down, and then we'll see how he's looking. All right, see you soon. Bye. Alright, brush monkeys, I made some progress on this guy, and made a lot more progress than I meant to. I started doing the flesh tone on the tentacles and things, but it bled the blue from the upper part of it down onto it, so I had to repaint that. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I did the inside of the mouth and base coated the teeth. I did all the eyes. You see all them little eye stalks all painted up, different colors, and got the eyes painted. I got the main eye done on the big guy, if I can get it to focus. No, I didn't want to go in that close. Come on. Okay, doesn't want to cooperate, so let's try that. There we go. Okay, now you can kind of see how I got the greens in there. I got the black pupil. I haven't done the Carroburg Crimson Bloodshot on it yet. I'm going to wait on that until the blue dries fully and I can get that flesh tone on the tentacles done. So I got a couple little spots and crevices up there and down here, like up in there, all up in there, where it's not quite dry yet. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break now and then let that finish drying, and then when I come back we'll get on some of the rest of the details. But you can kind of see already when I get them side by side, he's coming along pretty close. Obviously there's some differences. This one doesn't have the big pointy teeth that this one had. Doesn't have quite as many spines all over its back. It's got a few what look like little spines up underneath its chin there, so I'll paint those as teeth. And it doesn't have as many eye stalks, but he's coming along pretty well. I really like how he's looking so far. So yeah, I'm going to take a break, let that dry for a little bit, and then we'll come back and make some more progress on him. Alright? Okay, see you soon. Alright, brush monkeys, made some progress here. As you can see, I took the Carroburg Crimson to his eye, gave it a little bloodshot, shade washed his mouth, layered up his teeth. I got the tentacles painted with the flesh contrast paint, and got his skin, his blue parts here, layered up with or highlighted with the blue dragon scale wax from Ralpartha from back in the day. And I use this little tiny applicator to do that. So he's looking pretty good. He's looking like his bigger cousin here. Let me back that out. Here's a bigger cousin. Here's a little guy. So he's looking pretty good. So when the tentacles dry here, there's some little growths underneath there that kind of look like teeth. I'm going to paint them as teeth. Or horns, maybe. Maybe they're teeth, maybe they're horns. It's hard to tell. But I'm going to paint them like that. Give them a base of Xandri dust, and then a highlight of Ushabti bone, the same way I did his teeth. And then contrast paint the stone and the grass here, and maybe put a tuft on there after I've matte sealed him. But he's coming along pretty well. I think he's getting pretty close to being done. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break and let that contrast paint dry again, and then we'll come back and finish him up. Alright? See you soon. Bye. Alright, Brush Monkeys, the Beholder is done. Again, this is the one that I painted at the paint fight. This is a Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures Beholder, and he's pretty spiff and pretty huge. This is the 1984 Grenadier Miniatures Beholder that I painted up with the same paint scheme, and he is also looking pretty spiffy. Now, while I was waiting for this guy to dry, waiting for one of the contrast layers to dry on this guy, I stripped a bunch of minis and came across this guy, ugly little ball that he is. And I had to do some research on this guy. This is actually the oldest Mini I own, I think. I haven't come across anything older than him. I had to do a lot of research into this guy to find out. He's definitely a beholder, but I had to find out where he came from. His base just said Grenadier and didn't give a year. So he's older than this one came out in '84. This one, it turns out, according to websites called the Great Dungeon of the North and the Lost Minis Wiki. According to the Lost Minis Wiki, this one was part of a box set from Grenadier called The Dwellers Below. It was 2012. It came out in 1980. Okay. Grenadier started marking the years on their bases in 1983, which is why this guy doesn't have a year on his base. But he came out in 1980. And according to the Great Dungeon of the North, this guy, the Beholder was first appeared in the Greyhawk supplement for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in 1975. The earliest miniature produced of it was this guy in 1980. And again, it was part of the Dwellers Below box set, which looked like that. And it's got a bunch of other miniatures with it, and I'm going to see if I can find them too and paint up the whole box set. But yeah, this guy might be the oldest miniature I own. And this is the earliest miniature depiction of a beholder in D&D miniatures. So yeah, there's a little piece of history for you. Thought you'd find that interesting. I'm always thrilled when I get to do a little bit of research and look up something about a miniature. A lot of these quarantine videos that I'm doing now are going to be like that. They're going to be going into the history of these miniatures and looking at a lot of the older miniatures, a lot of the older Dungeons & Dragons miniatures that I'm stripping and repainting to kind of bring them up to speed with my current painting abilities. So plan on seeing some other old school minis. So, but for right now, there's 3 generations of Beholder, and this doesn't even include the. I had a Reaper Eye Beast, which is essentially the same thing. I'm going to have to see if I can find another miniature of that and paint it to the same scheme. But the Eye Beast was about the size of this guy. But he looked kind of like this one, but that sized. So I'll have to see if I can find another miniature of him and do him up too. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and call these guys done and get the video put together. So I will see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hey Brush Monkeys, Tom from Flying Monkey Studios here. If you like what you see, click like down below. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more and want to be notified when new videos come out. Check out the links in the video description for links to our Patreon page and our Instagram, so you can see all the different ways that you can support me in doing what I do, and get your hands on some of these miniatures that I've painted if you want one of your own. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook if you want to see updates and see when new videos get posted. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.